Hello, everyone. Welcome to Building Without Barriers Live. I am your host, Julie Sawchuk, and I'm outside today because we're going to be talking about gardening. Now, bear with me because I am a one-person show and I am my own videographer. Thanks for being here today. If you are outside in the garden, let me know. If you have some gardens growing, let me know. If you're watching live, please drop your name in the chat and tell me where you are gardening from today. I just want to show you what I've been working on in my raised beds, and specifically because a funny thing happened this week where I got a sliver in my chest while I was gardening, and I'm pretty sure most of you can say that that has never happened to you before. So I want to talk to you about why we designed our raised beds the way we did, how they are useful, what I'm doing to tweak it to make it a little bit more functional for me, and we'll just kind of take it from there. Let me know if you have questions as we're going as well. I'm going to show you some of the tools that I've been using, and like I said, it's going to be a bit tricky with the sun, so we'll just see how it goes. So when we designed these raised beds, we were specifically considering the height because I wanted it to be something that was easy for me to reach from my wheelchair. So the edges of the raised beds, they're constructed by 2x6s probably. It's all made of cedar, and the height of the wall is pretty much exactly the same height as my wheelchair seat. If I had the balance, which I am working on, I would maybe even get out of my seat, sit on this edge, and then I'd be able to lean. But as they are built right now, I'm able to reach about halfway through the garden, and then I can go around the other side and work the other side of the garden for planting and weeding. So what I was doing the other day was I was doing just that. I was leaning and I was weeding, and I guess I had my chest right down on the wood, and I ended up getting a sliver right through my shirt and into my chest. So that's one of the things I'm going to be working on this week, is actually sanding down the top so that there's less likely for splintering. And the other change that's really recent is these were sharp edged 2x6s, so grabbing on, because what I do is when I move along, I use my hands to pull along with one side, because then I can get really close and not have to worry about squishing my fingers between my push rim and the top of the raised bed. So when I was grabbing along, as you know, it kind of hurts when you're on sharp corner surface of wood, and then there's again more opportunity for splinters. So my husband brought out his router, and he's routered both of these edges so that they are curved and easier to grab onto. So that's a nice change. And when I get my my sanding block out, that will make it even easier to pull myself along. I want to show you some of the tools that I use. I have like a traditional this would be like a dandelion. Kind of like a screwdriver. I've also used a screwdriver for weeding, so I use that. When I'm working in the regular beds, like lower down, this is just the top of a whatever garden rake, and I use that just to kind of scour the surface. And it's quite nice not having a handle on it because it makes it easier to maneuver. So I'm just kind of loosening up the top of the soil, and then I go back and pull out anything that didn't come out like that. So that's how easy it is to weed. And like I said, I can reach about halfway into the garden. So then I go around to the other side. I'll do that. So this side has the stone down, and then on the other side we have the other side is just wood chips. Which makes it a little bit more challenging, and I have to work my way around the perennials, which I can do. So I guess my advice would be to, as much as possible, have solid surfaces on both sides so that you can maneuver around as easily as possible. And in terms of what you're growing, we've got beans, basil, a couple of tomatoes here, and you can see that Theo has trellised these tomatoes with some twine, and they are going to just grow up and around that blue twine that's connected to the pergola above. Last year we had sugar snap peas and a fence growing from here up, and that was great until the sugar snap peas got so tall that I couldn't actually reach them. We have fennel and some flowers, basically things that don't take up too much space, like they're not squash and pumpkins. And you want to be able to pick them often, right? So the basil, I'm just going to be pinching the tops off the basil and letting it bush out. The beans, you want to be able to pick them often as well. Tomatoes. And I've left a little bit of space for, I think I'm going to put an extra crop of beans in there in another week or two. So this is just one of our raised beds. We have another one. I'll take you over there. So this second raised bed, you can see, is against the house. So I can get around 3 sides of that bed, and then I rely on other people to weed or harvest whatever is growing on the wall side of the house. These get a little bit of shade in the morning time, but mostly they are in full sun all day. And that just, is great for those hot loving crops. Lettuces don't always do so well, but I'm excited about these. We've got a watermelon, a cantaloupe, and some other kind of melon, I think, coming up there. So the thing about having the raised beds as big as we have them and as deep as they are, like, it would be great if I had some toe clearance and I could get myself, if this came in a bit, like in and then down, I don't know, say like 8 inches, then I could go in straight. But what it does is it reduces the soil volume. And when you're reducing the soil volume, you're also reducing the ability for moisture to be maintained in that soil. So it becomes a matter of watering. Like, really, how much time are you going to be able to spend watering? The smaller the soil volume, the more often you're going to have to water. So watering is a tricky thing because it depends on the location of your hose and the faucet. We have yet to figure out a really good system for hose management. So often what I'll do is I'll take a bucket this size and I'll leave it at the corner of one of the raised beds. I'll fill it, and then I'll use whatever smaller watering container or a yogurt container, and then I water that way. Sometimes I'll soak with the entire hose, but if I tip this camera down, you'll see that this is the hose situation right here. So it's not organized. I'm designing it in my head, sort of what's a hose reel that I can roll. It stays at the house. I don't know. I just haven't figured that part out yet. But I do have some other watering things that are helpful. I use, instead of a watering can, I use an old soap container, and it has a lid. So whereas a watering can doesn't have a lid, I can fill this, put the lid on, throw it on my lap, and carry it to wherever it is that I need to water. And it's like 2 liters of water. So you can do a fair amount of watering that way. And then I also was doing watering with this where I couldn't reach. I was using this, I don't know, is it a water gun? So I put this in here, I suck it full of water, And then I was using this to water the side of the raised bed that I wasn't able to reach. And it's kind of fun at the same time. So there you go. Find your children's toys. Oof, it's dusty. And put them to use. Sometimes I wear gloves. Sometimes I get my hands dirty. Wearing gloves is helpful from getting dirt on my push rim. Then I can, if I get dirt on my push rim, I can wipe it off with the back side of my glove, and then my hands are free and clean on my push rims when I go back and roll into the house. So I'm not carrying that dirt around with me. What do you want to know about raised bed gardening? Raised bed gardening. Yeah. Any questions from anybody out there? Let me know. You can always send a message to me at Julie at juliesawchuck.ca. It's pretty warm out here today, so I think I'm going to call it a day. Cover yourself up with sunscreen and a hat. That's a must. My kind of injury doesn't allow my body to regulate temperature very well, so working in the morning and late in the evening is the best time to be out. Enjoy your gardens, get outside. It's good for your mind. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and send me any questions if you want to know some more tips about raised bed accessible gardening. Have a great day. Talk soon.